Let's talk about the PFD. I've chosen a Rescue PFD because I've used one before. And is it necessary? No, absolutely not. However, having used the tether before, I have come to realize that this is a pretty handy tool if you know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, is it going to hurt anything to have a Rescue PFD? Probably not. You're just going to spend a little bit extra money that you don't necessarily need to spend unless you're paddling fanatic. The number one thing is fit when it comes to a PFD. You don't want this too loose. You don't want it too tight. It needs to be comfortable. How do you fit one up? Well, let me show you how I like to make sure mine fit. I've had mine come off just as I drop in. I've seen it happen. It's really hard to swim when it's riding up or letting water slip through it. So, that's the main thing, is it wants to be able to be sucked down tight to your body so that it can't get pulled off if you go in feet first and your arms go up. You don't want it sliding up over your body. This is my other PFD that I use a lot. It's a lot tighter on me, and I wanted to go ahead and run this test to compare the two. I normally wear a dry suit under this one, and it's even tighter. It's a whole lot harder to get off. And you put this one on over the head, which is one reason I got the other one, so that I could slip in and out of it a little bit easier while I'm fishing. Is mine tight all the time? No, of course not. On flat water, I'll loosen it up, but it's always secure enough that it's not gonna come off of me if I take a sudden swim. So that's kind of the test. You want someone to be able to pull you out by your shoulder straps if you're completely limp. I can always quickly tighten it, if I see something coming, like a set of rapids that were unforeseen. And when I'm running white water, it is always totally secure. Do I ever not wear it? Only when I'm swimming in flat water, like intentionally swimming. Then sure, I'll take it off. But if I'm swimming rapids for fun, I'll wear it. Absolutely. It is an added layer of safety. Sometimes I see people not wearing them in flat water, and I think, sure, you can get away with it, but you should always wear one even in flat water, and here's why. Water temperatures can be a lot colder than you think it is, especially after you've been in there for 10, 15 minutes. It adds warmth and it adds survivability. Wind, if you come out of your boat and it's because of wind or it's on a windy day, the chances that you and your boat will be separated go up exponentially. Now, if your PFD is floating around in your boat, it's also getting carried away, maybe in a separate direction or diverging from the boat. So if it's on you, you've already got one step out of the way. If you hit your head on a hard part of the boat or a raft, you can get knocked unconscious, and if your PFD is not already on you, you are sinking. If your PFD is on you, your head is at least above the water. If you don't already have it on, it's almost impossible to put it on once you're already in the water, especially if you're struggling to swim, your shoes are filling with water, maybe you got waders on, you're cold, it's not happening. Also, you can assist in your own rescue as well as the rescue of someone else. Think about it. Two people come out of a boat, both of them aren't wearing life jackets. You swim over to your kid or something, or your dog, and they are starting to pull you down. But if your PFD is already on, then at least you have some level of survivability and safety. And if both of you are wearing your PFDs, it's almost a non-event. Think of these as being big handles. If anybody's left in the boat or a different boat, they can help pull you out of the water. This is so critical. That's why a tight fit is very important. It should feel like you're getting a little bit compressed. It should be just a little hard to take a full breath. Okay? That's how I know it's fitting correctly. Serious paddlers always wear their PFDs. Everybody else is just a jamoke. All right, what's in my PFD? First off, a word about whistles. I have one on one of my other PFDs. It's because someone gave it to me. I think having a whistle is great. If you want to carry a whistle, that's awesome. It's a handy tool. But I will tell you this right now. The best thing you can do, especially if you spend any time out doing any of this sort of outdoor adventurism type stuff, is learn to whistle with your fingers, okay? With both hands. And there's a few reasons why. Imagine you're on the bank, you're at camp, and someone goes floating by. You can whistle to get their attention. You may not have your PFD on you, and then you can throw them a rope, or you can whistle to get somebody else's attention on the bank, and your hands are instant and intuitive. The whistle, you got to fumble around, you're going to feel it. It could get ripped off, it could break. It's a hanging off part that you just don't need. Hands, nice and clean, you always have them. And especially when it comes to doing other things out in nature. You're not always going to want to carry a whistle. You know, the less you have to have with you is more freeing. So being able to use your hands, I mean, you can get someone's attention a quarter mile away by whistling with your hands. So one of a critical tool in my mind for a serious outdoorsman is being able to duplicate the whistle with your hands. All right, let's talk about knives. Everyone's got one, everybody wants to carry one, and everybody wants to put their thing right there on their chest or very prominent so that everybody knows I've got the thing, I'm a professional river rat, whatever. Okay, so I've got a few issues with knives. One, PFD manufacturers, I don't know what it is, but they can't seem to figure out a good placement for knives, and I'm pretty disappointed about that. Where's my other one? This one, for instance, right here is the clip. It really only goes one way because it's offset, right? So you got to be right-handed to get it. If you go this way, you're constantly raking your left hand over it and it's getting caught on stuff. Also, if you are trying to get into a boat, you know, oftentimes there could be a line or a piece of frame or a gunnel that this is going to get caught on, because oftentimes your PFD is the part that's sliding up over the boat. So this is getting caught all the time, right? Sometimes you'll see them mounted up high, you know, like this. This is down here is okay. I don't love this. In fact, I'm gonna have to mount this one here probably for lack of a better place. But I'm gonna try to tuck this up inside here so that nothing can catch it. But up here is no good either, because you're in a hurry. If you do need your knife for some reason, let's say you are caught up, you're bringing it across your neck. I don't love that. Also, if you're trying to put it back, you know, and you're like, you know, things are going on, this is not a great place. Okay. I got this PFD, one of the reasons, other than I wanted a side entry, and I like these pockets here, is that there was really, this was not, it wasn't, the mount was not here, it was not here. They had this mount here, and I thought, oh, that is trick. Look, they've got a little cover so that if you're going up over a boat, it doesn't get caught on something. But come on, Kokatat, look at that. I mean, this is your standard river knife, the NRS Pilot. Like, if that was mounted in that clip, this thing is not, there's no way that this little tip cover can get on there. What the fuck, man? Come on. Come on. I mean, really. Every single knife mount I've ever seen has always been in some dipshit place. We'll see if you can see mine on this one. You see it? Do you see my knife? It's out of sight, out of mind, which means it's also out of harm's way. I can go up over something, nothing's getting caught. If I need my knife, it's right here. It's right there. You see it? Probably don't even notice it. Okay? Boom. Also, don't be afraid to modify your knife. was marketed by Spyderco. I love Spyderco knives. This was marketed as a river knife, but it had the sharp tip on it. So if you drop it in the boat, you have an inflatable boat, which if you're paddling whitewater, there's a good chance you might have an inflatable boat. You will pop your boat. So grind it off. On this one had a very sharp tip on it. Okay, the back, the handle was sharp. The tip came blunt, but the handle was sharp. So imagine that this was mounted vertically, and you are pushing up out of back into your raft or your pack raft, and you miss it. You got it. You sink back down. Now this sharp end is coming back down over that inflatable surface with all of your body weight on it. You will puncture your boat if you're not careful, or if you're not lucky, I should say. So that also, grind it off. Now, the truth about knives is that you will almost never use them in the heat of the moment to cut a rope. So a lot of people are proponents of just keeping the knife inside your PFD like a folding knife. And I think that is really good. There's almost no emergency that you can't take the time, reach in, and grab your knife. Okay? It is important, I think, though, to have a knife that is operable with one hand and both hands can get at it. So if you have one hand tied up or you are holding on to something, you need to be able to get it with the opposite hand, even if it's not your normal hand. You need to be able to open it with one hand, right? Okay? Or it's already open. So that's kind of my 2 cents on knives. They don't have to be out and prominent, letting everybody in the world know that you got the thing. The main thing is that it is secure and not going to damage your kit or get you into further trouble or injure yourself or somebody else. So I like the solution I found for this one on this particular PFD. This PFD does not have the same configuration, so I got to figure that out. Keep knocking over my drink. What else about knives? Yeah, really, the chances of you using a knife to cut a piece of webbing or rope to free somebody or something is pretty small. More than likely, you're just using this to cut cheese and apples. That's it. Maybe pry open a can of something. More than likely, that's 90% of what these knives will do. So go get a knife. But don't feel like you have to carry it in the factory designated spot, because 9 times out of 10 it's a stupid spot. What else do I carry in my PFD? My keys. I never carry my keys ever when I'm paddling. Okay? When I'm hiking, sure, I might carry my keys, but even then, not really. And here is the philosophy. Your keys should be at your vehicle, on your vehicle, hidden, so that somebody else may have to use your vehicle to help facilitate a rescue or to come and get you prematurely. There is just no reason to bring your keys on the river, right? I mean, the chances that somebody's going to break in, find your keys and break into your car and steal it are so small, especially if it's hidden well. The chances of you losing the keys on the river, way high, especially if you have an electric key fob. The chances of it going tango uniform, very high. So that is a no-go. Moving on. 2 locking carabiners and a piece of webbing. This is so I can create a self-equalizing 2-point anchor, okay? If you don't know what that is, Google it, look it up. There's plenty of people out there that'll probably, climbers, they'll show you how to do that. But locking, always locking, okay? Because Murphy's Law, if it can get caught, it will get caught. And if this is, you know, you see people all the time, yeah, I got the thing, I got the other thing that's really important here is to have a carabiner, because, you know, everybody's got to have a carabiner, and the whistle and the knife, and oh yeah, the danger pager, you know, and this is just too much shit to get caught. Clean lines, all right? This is guaranteed to get caught on something. Everybody in the river community, hands down, knows no unlocking carabiners. So, and keep them away. Keep them packed away, out of sight, out of mind. Can't get caught up on stuff. A watch. I don't always carry a watch, though it is probably a good practice to carry a watch. And the reason is that if somebody goes underwater, you want to be able to start timing how long they've been underwater. All right, that's the primary reason. Also, it helps with navigation, and you're not always pulling out your phone to figure out what time it is. You don't have, you know, some people who wear a watch. I never even wear a watch really, but you know, I do carry one here. It's not going to get caught up. If it does get caught up, the watch band is going to break away. So that's a non-issue. Fire starter, a way to start a fire. I like a ferro rod. It's bomb proof. It's never going to fail. You do need a little practice with it, but it is idiot proof. Tinder. I keep a little tube of my homemade tinder. This is just hemp wool, hemp insulation that has been rubbed with Vaseline. This will catch and carry an ember so well. So that space blanket folds up nice and tight. Keep it in its plastic case. This could save your bacon. A micro medical kit inside an old pill bottle. I've got bandages, painkillers, and some ointment with some extra duct tape, which you can use to keep a bandage on and keep it dry. And then it's sealed with a piece of duct tape to keep it watertight. It's about all you need. But this is it, you know, for just general purpose. Almost always I have these things on me in my PFD. If I get separated from my boat and everything else, I can at least start a fire. I can probably rescue my own boat. I can stay a little warm. That's it. This top pouch, the bigger pouch, I usually reserve for like sunglasses and a snack and maybe the danger pager. All right, so that's it for the PFD. Let me know what you guys carry in the PFD. Let me know if you think I missed anything. I don't know what all there is to know. This is just the things that I feel strongly about. There's a lot of different ways to do things, obviously. So I didn't mean to cast shade on anybody's program. But these are just some of the things that I see as maybe being dogma, you know, like the whistle, the knife, the SOS device. What do you guys do? Let me know.